Mazuma TV back in the building, man. What's going on, y'all? Shout out to Mazuma Nation. Shout out to the Mazuma Mob. We in the building as always, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. Chilling at the crib, man. Enjoying my 26th birthday. I appreciate everybody for that that's been giving me their birthday wishes. It is very much appreciated. But nonetheless, the work never stops. You know what I mean? On the road to 2K, we about to crack that 1,600 mark in a little bit, man. Just wait on it. You see what I'm saying? I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. So what I want to get into is the whole situation that had went on between Teofimo and Terence Crawford on social media on X, formerly known as Twitter. I was going to speak on it last night, but because it was the evening of my birthday, I decided to just fall back and get some rest. Ultimately exhausted from this long training camp I got going on with my amateurs. January 19th, come slide by Pivot Boxing Academy. We got a great amateur show. If you are in the Philadelphia area, Jersey, Delaware, shit, even Maryland, you want to come around and check out some good amateur boxing, you come through Pivot Boxing Academy, 2807 North 6th Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19133, second floor. Stop by. You see what I'm saying? But I didn't get the chance to talk about it on live, so shit, we're going to talk about it now. So this all started with Teofimo doing an interview, essentially calling out Terence Crawford and shitting on his resume. I spoke about that in the previous video. If you want to check out my opinions on that, go check it out. You know what I mean? And Terence Crawford replies on social media. You know what I'm saying? Which what he typically does. You know what I mean? When he's not able to get near a fight or anything of that nature. He pretty much watches everything. He's informed of what's going on in the boxing world. And this is his response. And before addressing Teofimo, he just speaks on a few things. And here are the receipts right here. He starts off, this might not be in the exact order, but this is like how I organized it. So here we go. Terence Crawford said, I wish I could fight more than one time a year, but these guys been running and hiding for years. Boxing, nothing like it used to be. I'm assuming he meant to say boxing, nothing like it used to be when everyone fought each other. So he goes on to say that. Moving on, he says, I live in the gym, but my whole career, these fighters been running behind people saying I'm on the wrong side of the street. Call this guy that guy. Make it make sense. Of course, he's referring to Call Al and all of that situation and the whole situation with Earl Spence and the PBC guy saying that he's on the wrong side of the street. Moving on, he says, I fought everyone and everybody that was put on the table. Never turned down a fight in my life, even if it was a late notice, moving up in weight. Short fighters, tall fighters, strong fighters, fast fighters, boxers, brawlers. I fought them all. So he's pretty much telling you, bro, I never ducked nobody. I've faced everybody that's been in front of me, and I've overcame each style. I might give y'all one more or not, because y'all don't know how to appreciate greatness when you see it. Now, this is something that Bomac told me on my channel. You can go check out the interview. He said that after the Terence Crawford, after the Earl Spence rematch, he might hang it up if he can't get the Canelo fight. So that's just him confirming it right there. Go check out the interview with Bomac, man. He said, last I can recall, we definitely got our eyes checked before every fight. I'm just saying. Any boxer will know that, but casual fans will say and make up anything. So, of course, he's addressing the whole Earl Spence situation with him saying that he had cataracts going into the fight. This is something that I have disputed as well on my channel. You can check out that video as well. And he's pretty much confirming everything I said. The commission does check eyes before the fight, and if he had cataracts during the Crawford fight, they would have been able to pick it up, and they would not have allowed him to fight because they're not going to essentially let a guy with limited vision or even a blind fighter get into the ring and fight anybody. You know what I mean? They're not going to take on that type of responsibility. So I called cap, and Terence Crawford is calling cap as well. Then he goes on to speak about Jaron Ennis. He said, like I said before, Jaron Ennis had 2 opportunities to fight me. We're talking about a kid that's still fighting in the theater. Make it make sense. So I don't really necessarily agree with this post because regardless of where he's fighting, it's still one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing. One of the most demanded fights in boxing as of right now. But he's pretty much saying that he's small time right now, and he feel like he's big time. So that's why they're going around saying that Jaron Ennis doesn't bring anything to the table. Like I said, I disagree with this sentiment, but like I said, you're not going to agree with everybody on everything. But he's standing on business, man. He's pretty much telling you, like, Boots isn't anybody for me to really consider right now. Moving on, he goes on to address Teofimo Lopez. He says, at Teofimo, your little bitch ass better worry about them little guys that's in your weight down there in your weight class. It's crazy. Every time I see your whole ass, you don't even look my way. But when you're in front of the camera, you got so much to say. You a pussy. You know what I'm saying? So he got right to it with Teofimo and just blatantly disrespected that man. You see what I mean? And that might be true. I mean, I've never been around neither one of these guys. I don't know how Teofimo carries it when he's around these people. But regardless, that's just how he feels about the situation. You know what I mean? So he's coming out swinging off of the rip. Like he said, you talking crazy about me, but every time I see you, you don't got nothing to say. So he pretty much pulling this man card right now. So he goes on. This Teofimo replies and says, "Time will tell. You also need to focus on getting yourself out of that trapped contract you in with Earl Spencer, Al Heyman. See you at the top, brother. No hashtag no sucker. Plead the. I'm assuming he meant the 5th. You see what I mean? I don't even know what that emoji means. I'm assuming he meant the 5th. I don't know. But regardless, that's what Teofimo says about the situation. He says time will tell, and you need to get out of that trap contract, which is completely ironic because this man is talking about how this was his in the fight, the Josh Taylor fight. He said this was his last fight on ESPN, and guess what? It's not his last fight on ESPN. So who seems to be trapped? The man who's stuck on a network that he said he wants to leave, or somebody who's in a rematch clause? You know what I mean? So completely ironic. You know what I mean? Just don't really make sense. But that's what Teofimo does nowadays. He says a lot of things that don't necessarily make sense. Teofimo goes on to say, "You're right. I am the biggest pussy in the sport of boxing." Then lists the 2 guys that he beat, Loma, Josh Taylor, and he's saying that Terence Crawford is on the hit list. You see what I mean? Terence Crawford goes on to say, "Mr. 2 times, Mr. First to do it." So I'm pretty sure he just rubbing it in on Teofimo, you know what I mean? Because Teofimo was going around talking about he was 2-time undisputed, you know what I mean? Which was absolutely false, you know what I mean? Didn't make any type of sense because both times each time he's gotten a world title in 35 or 40, there were other champions in the division, so that was not truthful at all. On the other hand, Terence Crawford actually did it, so I'm sure he's rubbing it in right now. Teofimo says, and still ain't win Fighter of the Year. Which is absolutely false. I mean, he didn't get Fighter of the Year from ESPN, but I've seen several other places that have named Terence Crawford the Fighter of the Year. So I don't know if he's just talking about the ESPN side or what. It's not really making sense. But on the other hand, you didn't win Fighter of the Year either. So I don't understand why you flexing. You know what I mean? So that's just my take on that situation. And then it ends off with Terence Crawford saying, "Hey, Teofimo Lopez, nah, real shit, good luck in your fight. Focus on him because he can fight. And I don't want you to look bad worrying about me when you got other problems on your hands." So he pretty much is saying, focus on your fight before you not make it to your fight. You know what I mean? If you're a Terence Crawford fan, you know, if you know, you know. You know what I mean? He told Jose Benavidez that a while back. You know what I mean? So my overall take on this situation, man, is Terence Crawford cooked Teofimo. There's also other things that he has said on Twitter about throwing shots at Teofimo that didn't really necessarily make the screenshots that I presented on here. But, I mean, I could go back and check for y'all. You see what I'm saying? To just talk about that. He says, let me see. He goes on to say, he said that he needs 3 surgeries. So does that make him handicapped as well? Talking about Earl Spence with the cataract. He said, I got 3 injuries. I need 3 surgeries. So he letting you know, like, he not the only one that's hurt out here. You know what I mean? And then he also went on to say, you better fight Kambosos. He the one that you should be fighting. Then he beat your ass. So he talking crazy to Teofimo, which is facts as well, man. Kambosos really punched on Teofimo, and he never got any get back for that. So all truthful information. The truth hurts, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, you know what I mean? I might also make a separate video on this, but I also seen that Bill Haney had said something to Teofimo as well, talking about the whole situation with Terence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez. But let me see if I could just pull this up right here for y'all to watch. You know what I mean? Let's see. No, I'm going to just make this one video. And if you guys are still tuned in, I appreciate that very much. You know what I mean? But this is it right. Let's see where he at. Okay. Let's see it right here.
Teofimo Lopez, if you don't knock it off, talking about you want Bud Crawford. I just seen you and your daddy, and y'all yelled, why didn't we offer you $20 million? So you can imagine what you'd be talking about to fight Bud Crawford. Listen, act like you got some sense. You hear that money counter in the background. Act like you got some sense, and we can make Haney versus Lopez for that 140-pound unification. Yeah, baby. Act like you got some sense. And stop talking about Bud Crawford. You don't want none of Bud Crawford, and you don't deserve none. Knock it off. Talk like you got some sense.
Y'all heard it. So that's a little funny reply. I mean, it's self-explanatory. He said what he said. You know what I mean? $20 million. So he's pretty much asking for the money that they offered Gervonta Davis. Devin Haney and Bill Haney, they offered Gervonta Davis $20 million. So he pretty much asking for the money that they offered Gervonta Davis. So if that's the case, that's sick. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any type of sense. I don't really like to speak on the business side of boxing all like that. But in all honesty, you don't generate the type of money that Gervonta Davis generates. Gervonta Davis is the biggest star from 140 pounds and below. You know what I mean? That's hands down, no debating. You know what I mean? This man sells out. He does record-breaking numbers. I think him and Ryan Garcia's pay-per-view sales was like 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. Bro, he's doing different type of numbers right now. So, of course, he could get a $20 million. You, on the other hand, I don't even know what your highest career payday is, but I'm sure it's not even half of $20 million. You know what I mean? I'm very confident that you did not make $10 million in one fight. You know what I mean? I don't know if you got a history of doing pay-per-view numbers. I've never seen them. I don't even recall you like really selling out arenas all like that. So to ask for $20 million is insanity. And where I'm from in the sport of boxing, that's called pricing yourself out. You know what I mean? So disgusting work by Teofimo Lopez and his daddy. You know what I mean? Hopefully they get it together. And I find it funny that after all that drama that he went through with Terence Crawford, he went on to promote his fight against Jermaine Ortiz. It really makes me question whether you actually want to fight Terence Crawford or not. Maybe you did all of that, you know what I mean, just to promote your fight because you understand that people don't really want to see you fight Jermaine Ortiz. That's just me. That's you doing your promo or whatever. I'm not sure. But regardless, it's like Kanye West, whenever he went on those like big Twitter rants, he'll go and promote his album shortly afterwards or promote his sneakers that he got coming out afterwards. Real similar approach by Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion. But that's just what it is, man. This was a long spiel, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to get back to work, do what I do best, man. I appreciate everybody that was tuned in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification to select all so you know each time I'm going live or posting a video. I appreciate it very much. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm out of here, man. Peace. Let's see.